We are literally standing on the edge of a technological cliff right now. We're looking down at a reality where the barrier between human consciousness and artificial intelligence isn't just getting thin, it's dissolving completely, and way faster than most of us even realize. So, welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into a rapidly approaching future where the ultimate, and I mean the absolute final frontier of human privacy is about to be unlocked. Picture this for a second. You're wearing a sleek, normal-looking, consumer-grade headset. You haven't spoken a single word, you haven't typed a key on a keyboard, or even clicked a mouse. Yet the system you're interacting with already knows exactly what you want to do next. Now think about how unsettling it is to realize that these devices could soon track your raw, unfiltered thought patterns, just like they track your web clicks today. The data isn't just about your behavior anymore. It's literally the biological source code of your mind. And this brings us right to the core existential tension of our time. As neurotechnology accelerates at this absolutely breakneck speed, we have to stop and ask ourselves what happens to our fundamental identity. I mean, if an AI algorithm is seamlessly interpreting and anticipating your brainwaves, are you actually making the decisions, or is the machine just quietly guiding your consciousness?
Section 1. The reality of brain AI. Because this technology isn't science fiction anymore, folks. It's here today.
So let's break down how this actually works. All brain-computer interfaces, or BCIs for short, share a fundamental, highly systematic three-step pipeline. This framework is essentially a machine that literally harvests and translates your neural activity. It strips away all the sci-fi magic and shows us exactly how the human mind is being digitized right now. The process itself is astonishingly direct. First step, the device extracts your brain signals. It's acquiring the raw electrical firing of your neurons. Second, it processes those signals using some incredibly advanced machine learning algorithms, basically sifting through a mountain of biological noise to pinpoint your exact intent. And finally, it translates those processed signals into external commands in real time. So whether it's moving a robotic arm on a screen or just selecting a word to type, your physical thought instantly becomes a digital action. The crucial point here is that while we almost always picture intense surgical implants when we hear about this stuff, the reality spans a huge spectrum. Yes, you have invasive BCIs, things like microelectrode arrays implanted directly into the brain, like Neuralink or Synchrone, which are doing amazing things in clinical trials right now. But the market is rapidly expanding into non-invasive wearables. We're talking EEG headsets, smart earphones, and even glasses that are marketed directly to healthy, everyday consumers. What we're seeing is a massive transition from medical miracles to commercial commodities. On one side, we have these incredible therapeutic applications aimed at restoring lost functions, literally helping paralyzed individuals communicate or walk again, which is beautiful. But on the flip side, we have non-medical, recreational use. We're talking about devices designed just to enhance your concentration at the office, military threat detection apps, and, get this, neuromarketing, where companies could theoretically gauge your subconscious emotional reaction to a product before you even realize you like it.
Section 2. Enter the Neurorights shield.
So what happens when a medical miracle becomes a commercial product operating in this huge regulatory gray area? If our minds can be mapped, they can be monitored and potentially manipulated. To protect our inner lives from being hacked, legal scholars and ethicists, inspired by thinkers like Inyenka and Adorno, have proposed a critical new ethical shield known as Neurorights. The core pillars include mental privacy, cognitive liberty, mental integrity, and psychological continuity. Let's unpack the three most critical ones to see how we can actually protect ourselves. First up is mental privacy. As highlighted by the 2024 concerns from the EU's STOA panel, brain data represents the absolute ultimate frontier of corporate and government surveillance. Think about it. If big tech can currently track your location and harvest your search history, imagine what happens when they can track your raw, subconscious thought patterns. Mental privacy argues that the data generated by your brainwaves must be legally protected from indiscriminate leakage across the internet. Next, we have cognitive liberty. This is fundamentally about self-determination. It means you have the right to use neurotechnologies to alter your mental state if you want to. But actually, more importantly, it's the absolute right to refuse to do so. We really have to consider a not-so-distant future where society, or maybe even your employer, might pressure you into getting cognitive enhancements just to stay competitive in the job market. Cognitive liberty ensures you can never be forced into upgrading your brain.
Finally, there is psychological continuity. This one is deeply philosophical and kind of wild to think about. If an AI algorithm is constantly monitoring, prompting, or even slightly modulating your brain function through neural stimulation, Are your decisions still organically yours? Psychological continuity is the right to preserve your personal identity, making sure you don't just become a passive passenger in a mind that's being subtly steered by an algorithm.
And listen, this isn't just some theoretical philosophical debate for a university classroom. Patients who have undergone deep brain stimulation for neurological conditions have actually reported profound unintended alterations in their mental states. Some have expressed this deep alienation from their own sense of self, literally using phrases like, "I do not feel like myself anymore," or saying they feel like a robot. That is the very real psychological toll of interfering with the brain's delicate circuitry. Section 3. Who guards the mind? With this tech advancing so rapidly, who is actually stepping up to protect us? Right now, we're facing a massive, precarious gap. On one side, we have the breakneck speed of commercial tech development, pushing unsupervised, consumer-grade brain-reading devices onto the market faster than we can blink. And on the other side, we have the incredibly slow, methodical pace of international legislation. Lawmakers are currently stuck in rooms debating whether our existing human rights frameworks are even equipped to handle neurotechnology at all. Fortunately, some international bodies are beginning to step up to the plate. A prime example is this UNESCO recommendation on the ethics of AI. Specifically, if you look at Policy Area 11, the framework directly tackles the intersection of health, social well-being, and artificial intelligence, putting a massive spotlight on the deployment of AI systems in healthcare and neurotech. UNESCO is remarkably explicit about this. They are flat out warning us that as we develop these AI-powered brain-computer interfaces, we must actively build global frameworks to protect our fundamental human dignity. The technology has to serve humanity. It cannot be allowed to erode our autonomy or reduce our most intimate neural responses into mere data points for corporate extraction. Section 4. The future of your thoughts. Let's summarize exactly what is at risk here, because the timeline is much shorter than most assume. The crucial takeaway is that safeguarding our minds requires immediate action. Protecting our inner lives is not a problem for the year 2050, it is a present-day issue. We need to establish these neuro-rights guardrails right now before consumer neurotech becomes as ubiquitous and inescapable as that smartphone sitting in your pocket. We have to legally recognize the human brain not as a biological hard drive waiting to be read, but as a sovereign, deeply personal, and completely unhackable domain. It really leaves us with one incredibly powerful question to ponder as we look toward this fast-approaching horizon. Knowing what you know now about data, privacy, and identity, would you ever willingly merge your mind with a machine? And if you did, at what cost to your own identity? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the ethics of tomorrow. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.